voice is, like, gone. This isn't good. This is gonna be a problem during the stream. Let me know if I'm too loud, because I turned up my volume. I should probably disable that, too, so that you're not hearing that on a loop like crazy. Alright. Yeah, y'all. Wow, the game's really quiet for me, though. 1 second. That would be why. I just gotta make sure you guys can hear it, too. So the headphones, there we go. I'll turn it down for you guys. I don't know how loud I'm gonna have to make it, but let me know if you can't hear anything or what, or if it's too loud. Let's see, wow, I got a lot of duplicated chips. That's just wonderful. So, I think my whole goal with this is just to see how well streaming works. I don't think I'm going to be doing it very often. But I figured I'd give it a try. So we're going to do some bounty missions. Not against real players, but I'm not a fan of trying to kill real players, you know, unless they allow me to. Not right now, anyways. I don't want to burst people's bubbles. Everybody's pretty much got the same goal right now in Star Citizen. And it's basically to build up as much cash as you can so that you can buy a freaking hammerhead. And while that's not necessarily my own goal, it is definitely something I want to do before a reset or anything. So I have 22 thou. I've actually spent most of my my cash on weapons for my ships and stuff, which was a mistake. So it was a big mistake. So far, not too bad. It's very playable. I'm not getting any lag spikes or anything while I'm streaming, so that's good. So this will be interesting because the 2 missions that I grabbed for mercenaries were, for, what was it, bounties or whatever, yeah, are C3 and, or CS3 and CS4, which are crime stats 3 and 4. 5 is the highest, so I'm kind of scared because every time I've gone to a CS3, it's either been a caterpillar, which has some pretty powerful shields, prevents you from killing it very quickly, and I also have been put up against hammerheads on CS3, and that just didn't work, you know? I couldn't kill them in this thing. Oh, I should make sure, well, I gotta go up a little higher now, but I gotta make sure that I have weapons on this ship, because not all the ships do. So what do I got on this? Okay, I got the ballistic autocannon, got the machine gun, okay. Ammo looks full, gas is full, or hydrogen fuel, if you want to call it that. Alright, so now we're facing directly in the sun, that's great. It's gonna be blinding. But let's go. Oh, we have to fly all the way across the system. It's a good thing it's not Microtech right now. Wow, that sounded pretty interesting. Not too bad. While we're in Quantum, I'm gonna check on the stream through my phone real quick. See what's going on. While we're in Quantum, I'm gonna check on the stream through my phone real quick. Wow, that's my voice is really loud. let's bring that down, Tad. Bring that down. All the way down. Okay. Let's try that now. Let's go check. All right. Now I'm gonna turn up the game sounds a bit so that we can actually hear the ships rumbling and shooting. Yeah, you guys can hear that. Good. How does the stream look? Looks like pretty good quality. Yeah, not bad. Alright, sorry for the loops. Loop de loop. Bum bum be dum bum bum be dum bum. And sorry for the background sounds if you hear any. Oh, these quantum travels are just ridiculously long. There's the picture of my ship flying toward the planet. Gosh, dogs barking like crazy. I'm sorry for the dogs in the background. I can't control that. Oh my. Oh my. I need a crew. I don't got a crew right now. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh my, we are being interdicted. Oh, here we go. Take them down. Dead. He dead. Haha. Is that it? Is that all they got here? Can I not jump to that yet? I still have to go to Aberdeen. Really? Are you joking me? Yeah, the way the quantum travel works in this is kind of janky right now. You have to travel to the main star, or the main planet in the system that you're going in. Then you have to go to the moon, and then you can quantum travel over to the beacons and stuff, which usually the beacons are right next to the planet, but this one is quite far away. So I don't know why it had me jump over there. Well, let's try clearing it real quick. I don't know why it's all the way over here, actually. I've never seen it that far. Can we even? The thing is so far away. Wait. Oh. Oh. That was weird. Bugs. Bugs all day. Oh my. That's a rock. Don't hit the rock. Don't hit the rock. Alright, where are you hiding? You hiding behind the rock? Where you at? Oh. I didn't even scan you. Oh my. Oh. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, what are we looking at? Oh, that's a Valkyrie? Yeah, see, this is why I don't like CS3. They can be rough. God, yeah, this is not gonna end well for me. These smaller ships that are really fast, like, they don't, it's hard to hit them, especially in this ship. I'm gonna have to sub-target engines and hope to, need some more focus on shields. See if I can kill him. This is usually the easiest way to kill him, if you just sit in one spot and just light him up like that. The bigger ships are way easier to kill when you're moving, but for those small fighter pilots, if you catch them, just... I'm gonna let my shields recharge before I go after him. But if you catch them coming straight at you and you just light them up, it's perfect. I wonder if I can launch a rocket right now. Will it actually hit them? I don't even know. Guess we're gonna find out. Unless they're timed. I don't even see where the rocket went. Alright. Shields are getting... Oh, he's flying. He's flying. shields are coming back up. Can't tell where the ledge is. I think my ballistics weapons, my cannons are hitting them, but nothing else is. There we go. Now we're lighting him up like crazy. And he's not moving, so this is perfect. From this far away, basically, it's interesting because usually they do move around still, but I guess I'm still too far away for it to detect me in range, so it's not moving. See if that rocket that does anything to the AI or what. Oh, I thought they blew up. That's the rocket though. We've dramatically reduced the shields. I guess since he's just sitting there, we're gonna put full power on weapons and see what happens. Get a little closer for some better accuracy. Oh, now he's moving. Oh, he can, yeah, he can detect us now. So it's an actual fight now. Oh god, get out of the sun, dude. It's not cool. So I can get him onto the sun. There we go. So not all weapons are the same distance, so you gotta. And I should really change what my machine gun is on, but for now it's alright. Oh, there's another contact. That's good. One day we'll kill this thing. Oh, it looks like there's space police over there fighting. That's why, yeah. It's friendly over there. Oh, got one engine. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, you can see the red. The ship's gonna go soon. They explode. They have big. Oh, there we go. Boom. Big explosions. See what's going on over here. We got an Andromeda, a constellation over here. We got a Buccaneer. Who is this? A caterpillar? Oh, it is. Let's go after them. Let's save the caterpillar while we're over here. Uh-oh. Yeah, my machine gun's ammunition's gone now. sun is so freaking bright. You can't see. Whoa, he's getting close. Kevin. Now the Buccaneers on me, so it's gonna be more interesting now. Alright, I'm gonna have to try and stick up close to it now, rather than swing around it, because it's moving a little too much. Go. Got some good. Oh, okay. Just freaking ping right up on it. Get up closer again. Caterpillar's not even fighting back. I think they got disabled. Got some direct fire on them. Oh, they're going. You can see they're not moving anymore. I got their engines all taken out. There we go. Alright, that's gone. Now let's get the Buccaneer. It's over here. Not really doing anything right now, but... Oh boy. How much ammunition do I got left? We got plenty on the... Oh god, where is he? Where'd he go? I wasn't paying attention. Got plenty on the ballistics weapons, so... We're gonna try and kill this guy. There he goes. So that Caterpillar is now saved. Okay, maybe not. Okay, now we got another Andromeda who just popped in. I don't think I'm gonna have enough ammunition to save him this time. Might be the case where we die. You see, doesn't look like they're doing much. Get a bit closer to them. Getting some good hits on him right now. Oh my god, what was that? Was that the Caterpillar? Did I... Who was that? I didn't even realize there was someone there. Yeah, our shields are fine. Good lord. That was close. Where are they? Oh my. Friggin' another Traveler. Oh my lord, I don't think... I have 1,000 shots left, so I need to put all good fire on them, or else we're not going to be able to save this caterpillar. It's not very... Oh, I got some hits, but... Wow. That was, pretty close. That's some drifting right there. That was easy that time. Oh my god! Oh my god! Woo! Alright, where you at? Let's see. I started out with 22 thou. Now I'm up to 32. I made 10k so far just off this one caterpillar and the other guy's bounty. That's pretty nice. Alright, the caterpillar's gone, but I don't know what this fucking year's doing right now. Ooh, he's attacking something else over here. What's over here? How do I don't even remember how to target friendlies and stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to target this thing. Oh, that looks like maybe Crusader security right now. Not 100% sure. What is this? Oh, Buccaneer. Yeah, I'm gonna need to go get some ammunition. These, oh god, we're gonna... Oh, it's a fighter. Oh my. Just flew straight into the thing. Oh, part of its engine just... Oh, it exploded. Who is this? An Anvil Hawk. Oh god. Is he seriously attacking me? I don't know. We gotta go rearm though, because I'm all out of ammo. That was quite scary. Oh wait, no, that one's not. Yeah, that one doesn't have an R&R and stuff. That one just has a gravity well. Nope, not that. Where is it? And ooh, that sun. Okay. Oh. R&R. Everybody to the R&R! I don't know if this is still good volume or what, but let me know. Let's go. Open up comms for when I need them. And whew. Taking the sights. This game is beautiful, isn't it?
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Alright. Time to make a landing. Well, not necessarily a full landing. We gotta hover. Alright, back up a bit. Right here. Do that. We'll just get everything. And then we gotta wait. Just wait until all that's full. There we go. Ship, as far as I can tell, is not damaged. So that's good. Now we can pull away. These R&Rs are pretty cool. They're all somewhat different too, which is neat as well. CS4, really? I already have to go after a CS4. $805. There's like no missions out this direction. You have to be close. Yeah, let's go kill the bounty. Blah, 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 blah. that was a direct message. Alright. Real quick. Are we... No, we're not right over Lordville right now, are we? No. Unfortunately not. Gonna go try this. Oh, now we're getting interdicted again. Of course. Here we go. You know what? We're gonna zoom right past everybody. Because I'd rather just go against the CS4 than all of these. Whew. We were right next to someone when that happened. Here we go. Oh, that's my clock. It's telling me it's 6 o'clock. We're here. Where is she at? I don't see anything. Don't see anyone. Oh, there we go. Woo! Alright, got one of them. God, I hate those frickin' scatterguns. On these ships, especially. They're very difficult to hit. Oh! He just flew right into me. This guy running away? Nope, he's coming just head first. lost most of his engines. Woo! Pay attention. Oh yeah, he's getting close to dying there. Woo! He gone. Let's see how much ammo I got left now. Most of it. Oh man. Not too bad. Oh look, more missions. They updated. Alright, so if you ever see like wanted and it has CS1 next to it, this is all NPCs that you can go after, AI controlled. But if you see bounty issued and then the name, it's a player that has a bounty on them that you can actually go. I've actually never seen this group warrant mission before. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, if you like talk to the player on chat and be like, hey, you have a bounty on you, can I claim it, that kind of thing, a lot of times they say, yeah, sure, let me just, you know, get back to my ship and whatever, and then you can go shoot them down, collect your 10k. And if you ever have a friend who has a bounty, just invite them to a group, or if you're already in a group, have or share the bounty with them, and then kill them, and they get half the money for that bounty. So it's like a win-win, you know? Both get paid for having a bounty. You could probably even constantly repeat that by attacking guards and stuff outside of like Port Olisar and stuff. You just gotta be careful though, because other players are there and they will probably want to kill you as well. So yeah, I was gonna say we could go fly around some planets or something. Microtech's cool, but it's like it's so far away. I don't really want to fly all the way over there. It's literally all the way over here. I've never been to whatever this is. There's an R&R there, and there's a gravity well. I've never seen that. Let's do this. Let's do a... Did I get it or no? That wasn't the ECN, was it? It didn't accept it for me. I want to do that. It's probably because I held the button down. You're not supposed to hold it down. I guess... Should we just go to Microtech and fly around? Or should we go and, like, look at this gravity well thing? I don't know. I don't even know what it looks like or anything. It's blocked. We are obstructed. Yeah, and all of these are all, like, fake players and stuff. I don't know why it doesn't let me accept them. I think it's maybe because someone else accepts them right away. Let's see. Just got a little bit further to travel before it's not. Obstructed. I could have warped somewhere else and then warped there, but. Oh well. Oh, chat. This chat. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. I don't know why it says we're obstructed now. Oh, see, now it's fixed. So now we can. It's always awesome quantum traveling and then watching the planets go by because they actually look really nice. I don't know what this grab wheel looks like. I'm almost thinking. Actually, I'll be right back while we're in QT, and then I'll continue. Okay. This is kind of scary, but with my computer running this right now, it's keeping the room warm here. Oh snap, we're here. Alright, so this looks, oh, we're traveling at a 90-degree angle from the direction we were quantum traveling in right now. That's quite interesting. It's a good thing there's nothing in that direction. So just want to see, what do we got here? We got a mining claim, we got mining claims, got mining. So where's this gravity well thing? Microtech's over there. I'm not actually sure. What does it actually say about this place? A gravity well located in the orbit of Crusader. Wait a minute, we're not even... This is not anywhere near Crusader. What are they talking about? I'm not even sure. But I almost think it's not even worth looking around for right now. So I'm gonna say that we travel all the way that way right now. Before we hit rocks, please. There we go. It's gonna take a little while. A couple minutes. which we can actually get out of the ship and everything too. Walk around. Be quite awesome once we actually get like working computers here. I'm not actually sure what this says. Integrity power unit, container capacity. So, what is this? Government documents from ArcCorp. Interesting. Frozen foods. We got frozen foods on here. Power unit is low. Backup systems is damaged. I wonder if these actually update with the ship. I highly doubt it, but if they do, that'd be awesome. By the way, the ship I'm in is a freelancer. Can't actually show you it when I'm not in it, but it's actually one of my favorite ships. It's got plenty of cargo space. You can actually fit a Cyclone in here. You could probably fit, if you drove it, like, all the way to here so that you could at least get out and get into it here, you could probably get 2 of them in, I would say. Maybe 3. But I'm going to say 2. 2 Cyclones in here, which is pretty good. I bought one in 3.7, but they reset. Oh, we can open these. I forgot. Got like a little fridge kind of unit here, which I assume we'll be able to actually use at some point. Got towels down there. And we got this shower slash... is this a toilet? I think this is supposed to be a toilet. But right now you can't use anything. Yeah, this is a sink right here. There's a toilet underneath right here that'll pop out. Or actually down here. I don't remember. I don't actually know. Maybe this is the back. Is this supposed to be like a backrest thing? This is overhanging it, so I don't know. But yeah, the toilet will come out here somewhere. You got the shower up here, which I feel like doesn't go over your head or anything, so this needs to like extend out a bit. I don't know if this is bendable material that can bend over my head. That would be cool. Got an access panel here. I don't know what that's for. Got one right here. Yeah. We'll close this. It's kind of claustrophobic in here, but yeah. At some point, this will actually be utilized, where you'll actually need to bathe and eat food and all that stuff. Unfortunately, this ship isn't really, all about the whole bathing or anything like that. What does that say? Does it say MISC? Oh my god, you can't zoom in. Yeah, it says MISC. It's just a plate. Yeah, it's not about, like, the living space in here. It's just about transferring cargo and apparently there's a docking. This is a docking ring, so you'll be able to dock another ship on top of it. I wonder if you can travel around with it on top. That would be cool. Got 4 bunk beds here, which is almost... Actually, it's not enough, technically, because you got a turret seat back here, and then you got 4 seats up front. So I guess you're going to expect one of your people up front to come back here in the turret if you're getting attacked or something. I don't know what happens if I open this while we're quantum traveling, so I'm probably not going to do it right now, unless we want to spend a couple of minutes to get back here again. But honestly, this game looks gorgeous. All the textures and everything. Oh wow, we're actually here right now? There's the planet. Oh snap. Alright, well, guess I'm gonna get back in and fly us down to the surface. Go to New Babbage real quick. Got some clouds on this planet. Are those clouds or is this... That's just snow. It honestly looks like clouds from this distance. Not sure where New Babbage is from here, but find out. There it is. No, wait, that's not New Babbage. Where is it? There, oh, there it is. Out of range of New Babbage? What are you talking about? Gonna go around the planet. Which is also awesome. Complete. Oh man, we can see the dark side of the planet now. New Babbage is in the dark. If you actually stay here and just watch, you can actually see the whole planet turning and the sun lighting up new areas. It's pretty awesome what this game does right now. Let's go down to the city. Sad thing is, in 3.8, the city is pretty much just a shell. You can't do anything in it. Can't go anywhere. You just fly around, kind of look at things. But it's still a pretty place. The planet's like gorgeous. The weather effects that you can feel and see and everything on this planet is amazing. Why in the world did they put us this far back? I don't know. It's probably because this is the biggest planet on in this whole solar system here. So like, yeah, you actually have to travel, which is mean. Look at that sunset. Oh, you can actually see the city already. There it is in the distance. Looks pretty cool. Almost sounds like my plane's on fire right now. I don't even know if that's the sunset or if that's the sunrise. What's that reflection over there? See that reflection right next to the ship right there? I wonder what that is. It's gone now. Oh, wait, are these clouds right here? They are. We're not even underneath the clouds yet. There will be volumetric clouds when they get those working properly. For now, it's just these flat plains. That's interesting. Oh, hey, look, my ship's tumbling down. It's kind of funny how it just completely stops its momentum and then just falls like that. They really had us fly far away to get to New Babbage this time. I don't think the last time it had me fly this far. I guess I should have gone to the spaceport that's like right above it. Almost down. I wish I could turn the interior lights off because it kind of does make things hard to see outside the windows. Look, I mean, like, look at all these reflections. I can see the door in the background. Whatnot. Look at that city. If you can see it, it's beautiful. If you can't, I'm sorry. So far, I don't see any weather going on right now, but doesn't mean there's not. Here's where the spaceport actually is. It's right here. Wow, my lights work from quite the distance away. Holy crap. Is that a ship right there? What is that? Oh no, it's like a little outpost. I'm gonna say. So this is where you'll be landing. Or ripping your wing off like me, almost doing. Actually, is this the spaceport? I don't think this is the spaceport. I think this is a different complex. It has rails though. But look at this city, guys. Like, oh my. I'll follow the rail line right now. I don't know why there's, oops, keep doing that. I don't know why there's lights in the forest right there. It's pretty awesome, though, this area. This is definitely the largest city area I've seen, and it's going to be quite complex traversing this. Look at those building lights, though. The LEDs that they got on them. That's interesting. Oh, and those orange buildings right there. What in the world's going on there? It's awesome. You can fly right in between the buildings. Right on top of this building. Like, you just freaking... You could scare people. And yes, they do have landing pads like this. From my experience, they don't do anything right now. I don't know if... That was a rough landing. I don't know if we'll ever be able to go inside of this stuff. It's kind of interesting, though, because when you go over here, not just me, when anybody goes over here, and you go over to the doors, they have, like, potential interiors. All of these do. And it's kind of make me wonder what they're gonna do with all of this. Like, I'm assuming these doors are gonna open to have, like, smaller ships come out. Or maybe cargo. But it's like, okay, so you can come in here. You can't go in here right now, but this is gonna be... This is their new elevator tech, so you'll be able to control elevators right here. So is this... Could this potentially be that all of these buildings here, these tall buildings, could they be true persistent player housing? That is a very... You know, it could be very easily that case. I don't know what I'm saying. I have a feeling that that might be the case, where they're just going to be putting player housing in all these buildings. I absolutely hate that the back landing gear stick right now, but they do. But yeah, I honestly all of these places just seem to me like they're going to be housing, because all of them have landing pads. Like, that one has a landing pad, the one down here has a landing pad, and they all have the doors that you can actually go in. So it's like, what are you gonna do with all of these? The smaller buildings there don't have landing pads, but this one has a landing pad. It's like, why? Oh, so this is a Platinum Bay building. So this is what one of the makers of, like, different components and stuff. So I wonder if that's like their HQ or something. Could be. We got so many buildings in this city that have landing pads that all have those doors that you can potentially get into, which just makes me wonder if they're actually going to utilize them. Like, look at this. All of these. This one has a landing pad. That one has a landing pad. This one does? I don't know what this thing is. It's a little dome thing, but it looks cool. I wonder what's inside of these. Is this a tram terminal or what? Because the tram leads right to here. I'm wondering what we can see. If we can see anything. Oh no, they just have, they have those tube things. Interesting. Look at this tram though. This one goes all the way up here. Where is this going? So this one goes into here, which also has those tube covers, so you can't actually walk in or anything. They knew that we were going to try and walk in, which is, you know, smart of them, because who wouldn't? Is this a gate port? Like, could we get vehicles out here? What's going on down here? So this is some cargo over here. Looks like some stuff buried in snow, which is interesting. I don't think that's supposed to be the case. Think they have some clipping tech that they need to make for procedurally generated stuff. Got a Microtech building. Oh, I guess a lot of these are Microtech, aren't they? This whole planet's Microtech. I'm surprised there are no other players around. I keep thinking what I'm hearing is other players, but it's actually just this. Oh, okay, so here's the spaceport over here. It's just me, though. It's not anybody else. Got a bunch of rocks on the ground. I think there's a frozen lake right here. I don't actually know. So yeah, this is a spaceport that you'll have to travel on the trams. It looks like they have 4 different trams. Is that right? Yeah. Or 5. 4. 4 different trams going to the different places, so that's good. Be interesting to see exactly how big they are. Kind of, ooh, actually. Oh, it looks like the tubes are all the way back here, yeah. They're all... So the last time I tried to land on this, I fell off and died. Because there is a top pole right here that you can get stuck on. If you see that. I don't know why the backlight on my thing always shows up. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna try. I can try later when I'm not streaming. I'm just gonna fly around. See what's going on. We got lots and lots of hangars. Wow, I'm a fan of my lights because they go really far. But we got hangar 23 right here, 22, 21. Like, holy crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So many hangars. Got lots of other hangars up here, 2930. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything up here with NPCs, like working in the cargo area, that kind of thing. If these things will move at some point, that'd be cool. There's gonna be like maybe mini vehicles, cargo vehicles driving around and bringing cargo to different places. Obviously, they don't seem to, no, they don't seem to have a place to, like, elevator that cargo down, so I don't know exactly how that works, but from the game's perspective, all of this is huge already, so don't overcomplicate it. Got tons more cargo and different places. All these towers to ATC towers to control people coming in. Got these radio towers or something up here. I don't know what these are up here. We're going up. Look at these mountains. They're pretty good looking. Honestly, right now, with the way the lights work on these, on the Freelancer, I am like dead on set to go look for people lost in forests and stuff. Be like a medical gameplay thing. So we got like a little storage facility thing down here. Interesting. And then we got this radio antenna thing up here. Doesn't look like it has any access points or anything, but it's pretty neat in general. I doubt these things will be utilized for anything. They're pretty much just there to include some stuff on the planet. Ooh, look at over there. That's where all the weather is. I'm gonna start flying towards that. So those clouds usually mean like extreme weather, and it does move across the planet's surface and everything. So we'll go and skim the ground just to see or fly towards it. Be interesting to see how it looks. Guess we should be staying near the ground. I don't know what that blue thing on the top of my ship is. Oh, is it just lights? Is it part of the engines or something? I don't even know. It looks like it's just lights. Let's get closer to the surface just to see what's going on. Make sure there's, if there are weather effects that we're actually getting them, because I don't know how high you can be to avoid the weather effects, but look at how wide the lights are, and all that. It's like, wow. Whew! Yeah, it's bright. Oh my. It's getting a little cloudy right now. It was. You can see the snow falling a bit more. They do say that the weather of the planet's surface will affect your maneuverability in your ships. So, if there's a snowstorm somewhere, then it'll affect how we fly. I don't know, I'm just kind of looking around, seeing if there's any objects reflecting light, because maybe there's something that some people have missed when traveling around. You never know. Just look at that sky, look at the potential sunset. I'm not even sure. Might be a sunset. If it is, that's pretty cool. See the sun coming up while we're flying around. Let's not fly into the mountain, though. Alright, so now we're getting into some more snow. Definitely... Oh, excuse me. Definitely a heavier snow. Probably means we're getting closer to some higher winds and stuff. As far as I can tell, I haven't seen anything that looks like it could be. There's a big patch of forest right there. That's interesting. It's just like a strip. Yeah, I haven't seen anything that interesting that's like a building or anything. Just lost out here. As far as we know, there is nothing around this area. They only built stuff on New Babbage, or in New Babbage over there. But never hurts to just kind of fly. Oh wow, look at this. Here's some storms coming. We're getting into the... Oh yeah. It's getting hard to see. Woo! Yeah. Oh my. Oh my. Oh. There's a mountain right in front of us. Yeah. I can't see anything. That was quick. Just like showed up. It was just over those hills and everything. It's extremely strong weather. There's probably going to be a point when they add having to land your ship because of high winds and stuff, where the winds are too powerful for it, that it's pretty much knocking you out of the sky, or the turbulence is too great that you can't really control it, so you're gonna be forced to land and kind of ride out the storm, and maybe even travel through it on foot or by land vehicle, which ultimately would be crazy in terms of, wow, this is the most dense forest I've seen yet. It'd be crazy if you had to do it on foot. But land vehicles especially would be pretty cool. Also crazy though if you're in like this area with all these trees. I don't even know if you'd be able to get a vehicle through here. As of right now, there's no way to actually chop down trees or anything. So gotta be careful too. If I get low enough to actually hit these trees, then we blow up. Man, oh man, though. We are going into the eye of the storm, it seems. Let's land and see what happens here. Look at the tree in the back. Forward a bit. Land this thing. Look at the snow and everything. I don't think you can actually see the snow and stuff on on the windshields and everything, but once you get outside, you can actually see it. Wonder if I like open this. Oh my, what's going on? I think it's actually moving the ship. That's how powerful the wind is right now. You can see instantly when it, oh my. But you can tell, you can see the wind's blowing direction, which is awesome, and then you can see on my visor all the water droplets of the snow melting on my visor is also blowing in that same direction. So if I turn this way, it's going to start blowing the opposite direction, which is absolutely awesome. You can also see footprints on the ground of your own. Snow really makes things pop. Yeah, so that's awesome. You can see the footprints and stuff for when you're walking around. I don't know how long they last or anything, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Freaking bright lights on the ship. Can't see anything. Oh, looks like the weather's gone. It's passed through. In my opinion, that was a little quick, but it was pretty awesome anyways. And now it's all evaporating off of my visor. It's a little bit blurry right now from the rain, but yeah. That was actually pretty awesome to see it come and go. So now it's really clear. You can actually see. I guess we will continue our journey. plenty of area for us to set up a camp or something if we wanted to. When persistence is kind of more finalized and landing your ship and logging out is a thing like that works consistently, it would be awesome to just land in one of these patches on the ground and log out so that you can log back in that same area. I'm kind of interested in going towards one of the bigger mountains. This one's kind of interesting. It doesn't really have any snow on it or anything. Which is all black. It's very interesting, actually. It's actually very strange. I don't even know what that that is. It's almost like a completely unrefined rock or something like that. Like from a game developer standpoint, anyways. It just looks like this never got polished over, and it's just a giant turd or something. Could also look like a cave or whatever. Like it has a giant cave in it or something. That would be awesome. It's interesting. It looks very unfinished here. I don't know how much manual work they put into making all these mountains and stuff, but that one looks like it didn't get finished. Oh, look at this over here. Got some trees floating. Yeah, I think definitely over here some of these didn't get touched. That tree's floating right there. Oh, they popped. They're popping down now. Interesting. So just from that distance then, that's what was causing them to look like they were floating. Looks like the sun may be coming up soon. You know, we've spent like 30 minutes, 40 minutes flying already. I love that there's just like some little things plotted around the map or something that players could find, or around the world I should say, because obviously it's not just some flat plane of map, it's literally an entire planet that you can fly around. Which is still essentially a flat map, if you want to think of it like that. Because you just gotta make it connect. You know, one end connects to the opposite end. You just gotta fold it up. And I'm not trying to say flat Earth is real, but in a video game perspective, it's pretty much that way. I mean, it is technically a sphere, but it's like a single plane for video games. And maybe it's not. Maybe they did do something special to make it a round planet and do all that actually simulated. It wouldn't surprise me. They seem to do things in ways that are not typically done. I dropped some frames at one point. Looks like a frozen lake over here. Kind of want to try and landing on it. I know when I was watching Tactical Advanced, he didn't land on it because he was afraid that he's gonna sink right in. But if there aren't 1,000 rocks all over, which it looks like there are, this might be a problem if I try and... Oh, God. Bless me. Yeah, I don't think a landing like an airplane is gonna work too well on this. Look at all these rocks. They're huge. Why are there so many rocks? Is this a frozen lake or what? Or are these just snow mounds that my ship can't break through? Oh, we got an opening. We got an opening. Oh God, we better take off. Oh, whew. Oh my. Well, that one has a hole in it. That's cool. That was scary. Should have probably cut the engines and we would have actually landed properly. Try landing down on the mountain, you know. Oh man, there's like no forest over here either. It's kind of strange. Whoa, what is? Whoa, what the world is that? Oh look, the sun's coming up. Whoa, what's going on? Oh, is that the sun? Is that the light from the sun? I think it is. It's interesting. It's coming up. We can watch it. Yeah, it's definitely the light from the sun. It's gonna start casting on all of this. Look at it. You can actually see it moving. Hold on, let's turn it around. Let's go, let's go. I probably should have opened the doors already. Oh god, I better not clip through. I hope I don't clip through the bottom of the ship. Alright, we're gonna watch the sun come up. It's beautiful. Just look at that, son. Gonna start casting shadows and everything soon. Oh god, if I clip through the bottom, that's gonna be scary. You can actually see it getting brighter in the ship. You can see the clouds, you can see the... It's kind of funny that when I'm right standing inside, you don't actually get to see the snow. But when I'm right here, you do. On my visor, I mean. Look at it, the sun's coming up. Is that truly how far we've come? We've gotten to the point where the sun is coming up. So I'm assuming at the rate that this sun is moving, every what? What are we looking at here? 40-minute day-night cycles? Or would it be a total of 80 minutes? Where 80 minutes of sun, 80 minutes of night? Or, you know, their ratio. Because sun is usually, like, light is usually more than darkness, because the sun will stick around for a little bit longer. At least the light will stick around, because it can cast further. Oh, look at the shadows and everything being formed. It's beautiful. Start to see the ship in the shadows. I don't actually know where it is, but... I don't actually know where we are right now. Let's look. Corresponding to New Babbage, where are we at? We are honestly not that far from New Babbage. It's only a couple 100 kilometers. Really? That's quite sad, to be honest. God, there's so many rocks all over the surface. Why are there so many rocks? There should be plenty of area to just land. Oh god, now it's gonna be very sunny. I couldn't see anything in front of me, but we're coming into a storm now. Oh, now we're out of the storm. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god, I wasn't paying attention. Oh god. What is all this water? What is it? Water or ice? Can't even tell. New Babbage is gonna be what on the opposite? This way. Yeah, on the opposite side of all that. You know what I'm gonna do, just because it seems like fun, I'm gonna kind of mess my my engines up, damage them on purpose. I don't even know if that damages it or not. Yeah, it's probably not helping me get there faster. We're at 90 kilometers out. Bum 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 bum. It's gonna take us about 10 minutes to fly there. Wow, I've burned through a lot of hydrogen fuel flying around this planet, though. I didn't realize I was at 46%. Alright, once we get to New Babbage, I'm probably going to end the stream. I just wanted to see how well it worked, and it actually worked pretty well. I'm happy with it. Unfortunately, I didn't have anybody watch. But that's okay. Oh man, it's gonna be over that too, huh? looks like I can sneak out a couple of, a little bit of speed by doing this. Oh. Taking them forever to fly. They're gonna be pretty much out of gas. Fuel, I should say. Should get higher. I see one of the poles. Look at the planet though, it looks so good. Just wish there were more buildings and stuff. Those penises right there. You see that right there? Can't really point them out because I don't have a mouse or anything. Oh my god, why is that open? Kind of looks like penises right above the ship right there. I see Nubavitch. I see it. I don't think this is necessarily helping us with speed or anything though. We're above the clouds. We're above the clouds. We're right on the plane of the clouds. We're literally on the plane of the clouds. You can see them in front of us and around us, but you can't see it right on us. There's my contrails. And here's where we started. Should I go dive bombing into the buildings or something? I have fines to pay off already. I don't think kamikazing actually works though, because they have a no-fly zone that will actually completely stop you from flying. Yeah, we pretty much used almost all of our hydrogen fuel just to get over here. Or just to fly around. I bet it would have taken us more than what we have technically, which I don't think hydrogen fuel is calculated right now. So, you can just keep flying without any. It's just... I think it would have taken us much more than what we carry to get around the planet. Should I just go log out right in between that building right there? We're almost there. Yeah. Land, like, literally on the inside of that building. Oh, we might not be able to because it's a little tilted. We'll try it anyways. There's really nowhere to land, but we're gonna try it anyways. Can't see. Here we go. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my god. Oh my. Okay, that's pretty scary. Whoa. What's going on here? Yeah, that's scary. I don't know how to feel about this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, what's going on? Guys, we're in a restricted area. This is very restricted. Very restricted. Super restricted. Nobody's allowed. Nobody's allowed to land here. Beautiful. Perfect. We're in a great place. Oh my. I don't care. We're gonna log out. Oh my lord, what is going on with the ship? What the hell's going on? Oh god, what's going on? What is that? What is going on? I don't know what's gonna happen when I log back in, but oh my. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you at some other point in the future. Boy.